Hey there guys, welcome back to Danganrompa V3 Killing Harmony. It's been forever since I got time to record this, holy crap. Like, I think I've said this before, my actual job opened, and so I'm putting in 10-hour days, and I just never had the energy to start a 3-hour trial. So I apologize for the length of time it's been since I was able to record this. I'm apparently trying to make up for lost time by talking really fast, because that's effective, right? So, before we get to the trial, final thoughts, final theories. I've had a long time to think about this. Unfortunately, I haven't made a whole lot of headway. This trial is really well put together. So, my top suspect. Well, before I get to my suspect, there is one thing that is not obvious that I think I've figured out. So, if you go into the small empty bottle, you have found in the corner of the bathroom, label stained with blood, so only the word poison is visible. And we do believe that's the Strike 9 poison. However, you notice its stopper over there? The poison bottles had brown stoppers. That blue stopper comes from an antidote bottle. So either that is the Strike 9 poison antidote, or more probably, that's actually Strike 9 poison there, but there was also antidote here, which is why we didn't find any of the antidote in the lab. Why do I think that matters? Because Kaito's coat has a bloody hole in it in the sleeve. I think it's very possible that Kaito was ready for the possibility that he would actually get poisoned, and he has the antidote. So that brings me to my top suspect in this case, is Kaito himself. Here's why. There is ample evidence that Kaito would have been able, Kokichi is the one that died. We found his clothes stuffed into and tried to be flushed down the toilet. We haven't seen him the entire time. And when we found his clothes, one of the arrows went into presumably his back, whereas Kaito only got winged. Additionally, Kokichi got attacked by the crossbow that Kaito knew how to put together, and the statement was made, although it was not evidence, that unless Maki had told you how to put something together, it's unlikely you'd be able to assemble it yourself. So, although it's possible Kokichi could have gotten control of the crossbow and then put his coat on Kaito and then shot Kaito, it just seems unlikely. It just seems things are lining up too well for Kaito, for Kokichi to end up being the killer, because there's a lot of aspects to the crime that only Kaito or Maki could have put into place. So what do I think happened? I feel like Kaito talked to Himiko through the window, asked Himiko to go get the duffel bag. Either Kaito had preemptively set up the duffel bag with all the different poisons, or he also asked her to, and get this from the detective lab and get this from the detective lab. Though the one problem with that is that seems way too easy. It was like, Himiko would have been like, oh, well, then Kaito did it because he's the one that asked me to get all this. And I haven't quite resolved that. But assuming that's what happened, because we know Himiko at least brought the bag. Brought the poison. Kaito covered the bolts with poison, shot Kokichi, apparently in the back at some point, or shot him in the arm, and then when he fell because of the poison, shot him in the back. Then put his own, took Kokichi's jacket off and tried to destroy it, put his own jacket on Kokichi and shot him again, possibly in the other arm, in order to make it look like Kaito had been the one that was injured. He then uses one of Kokichi's, he then puts Kokichi in the press, lowers the hydraulic press in order to smush Kokichi, uses one of Kokichi's bombs in order to deactivate the door, walks out, goes and gets his own hammer, uses the hammer to hit the Monokuma bot, opens the lid, has the Monokuma bot walk back into the lab. Yes, he doesn't need to do that because he should have Kokichi's remote, but I think the whole point of that is to make a scene where it looks like someone came in from outside. If it's not Kaito, my second guess is Maki. Maki has almost exactly as much ability to do this as Kaito does. Maki is the one that left her hammer behind. Although, like I said, it could easily be Kaito's hammer, so that doesn't really mean anything. She could have gotten the lid to open, walks in. Possibly, like I said before, Kaito actually tried to free himself, but Kokichi managed to overpower him and shot him. So Kaito is possibly already dead. Maki freaks out, doesn't like the fact that we were going to spare him, and says, "Fuck no, you're not sparing him." Takes him out because she's an assassin, and he's possibly already woozy from the, battle with Kaito, and possibly getting poisoned by Kaito, even if there is an antidote. She ends up putting both of them in a hydraulic press. Takes Kaito's jacket off, though, for some reason, and that's why we find his arm's not in it. Then she puts the press down. She uses, again, the bomb to get back out, and that kind of leaves the scene where it is. The problem with Maki being the killer is, one, it feels very strange. It's like, why... Maki and Himiko seems to have absolutely nothing to do with each other, and also it seems very unusual that Maki would kind of flip out like that and still have such a rational and easy way of committing the crime. That does not make a lot of sense. The other issue is that there's just too many elements of the crime that don't really, you have to assume that Kaito is planning on doing a crime himself or trying to kill Kokichi himself. And then Maki just stumbled in on the middle of it, because Maki presumably has nothing to do with the crossbow or the poison. And then why would Maki take his jacket off and try and flush it? We've already got her playing, tricks with Kaito's jacket. It seems odd that she's also playing tricks with Kokichi's jacket. Third suspect is Kokichi, because he really, in theory, can do almost as much as Kaito does. Kaito could be trying to get the crossbow, but Kokichi avoids him. He is faster than Kaito at this point, and he can just as easily do just about everything Kaito can. Again, that's just it. There's not a lot of evidence pointing to him, but he is the third most probable. Fourth is probably Himiko. Fifth is probably Samugi. There's absolutely no evidence indicating that Samugi did it, but she also doesn't really have an alibi. And sixth and last is Kibo. Kibo does not seem like it's possible for him to be the criminal, because he's the one that found the jacket. He's the one that found the green mech. Yeah, you could find all that stuff if you were the killer, but why would you? I mean, why would you report that the green mech walked into the sensor if you actually used that to get into the room? It doesn't make any sense to have taken that route if he was going to be dealing us with false coins. So he volunteered a lot of information that there's no reason for him to volunteer if he was the killer. And again, Himiko, she did go in there with the crossbow, but she had no idea how to assemble it. And she certainly is not bringing a loaded crossbow in with the mech with her. So that's why the only real options are Maki, Kokichi. I don't know why I stopped on Kirikuyo, but Kokichi and Kaito. Kaito being number one. It feels odd. There's a lot of evidence that suggests someone got into that lab, but now thinking about it, that evidence could easily be doctored. The mech gives people a way to get into the lab, but it's not a requirement to get into the lab. I kind of hope it's Kokichi, though, because I don't want to suspect Kaito. I like Kaito. The God, let's go do this. Let's have ourselves a trial. Are you excited? I'm excited. The kitty's excited because the kitty is sniffing my foot. Kitty says, "What's that? It smells like a trial. Or your shoe." I think this may be the closest murder scene to the trial we've ever had. The gym is pretty close, though. But the gym, I was still in the main school building. This was just in the hangar. Then there were 5, although I think there may be 6. This isn't everyone, right? Yeah, Kaito and Kokichi aren't here.
What's the point?
Yeah, I bet Kokichi's are. Wow, her voice was very managed for a second. I bet Kokichi's already there.
You bastard.
It's the match by the killing game. He's waiting for us to arrive.
No.
There is I actually think Kaito is more likely than Kokichi. That's the other problem with it being either Kaito or Kokichi, because the revelation that they're the mastermind doesn't really make sense unless, because we're going to find out as soon as we walk in that it's them.
Do you want to die?
Maki, shut up.
Well,
This is a battle between hope and despair. If I show any weakness like you are, then I know I'll lose to despair. Well, you just are weaker than he is. He can afford to, like, have emotions and also beat despair. Strengthen up, Maki.
you don't know?
6 of us will participate, and 1 of us will die after the class trial. Then only 5 will be left. Only 5.
That's obvious.
But we can't lose to despair. If we have no future, we need to win. This is the whole point of the class trial. I will defeat Kokichi, no matter what I have to sacrifice. That's a line that indicates that my second guess may be true, and she. But again, why would she have to defeat Kokichi if she killed Kokichi? I know that we can't lose to despair, but something's wrong. It doesn't feel right. This is why you don't be bad. I wonder what Kaito would say at a time like this. What would he say to us? If I was Kaito. You want to talk to me yet?
It'll be okay.
I'll be on my guard the whole time.
Right.
I'm filled with the combined power of hope and magic right now. It's hopeful magic.
Shuichi!
I understand you don't want to believe it, but Kaito's not here anymore.
You bastard.
I'll defeat Koki no matter what I have to sacrifice. We cannot lose. No matter what Kokichi is scheming, there's no way we can lose. I really feel like Kokichi's already dead. Bye-bye, Mr. Monokuma Man. Mr. Monokuma Man. I will tell you, the thing that actually worries me is that there's scratches all over the control panel, and I have no idea from what. Silent as a tomb. We stepped into those open doors. I'm starting with that one because they said we said nothing to each other. I'm not going to read out loud that they said nothing. That's dumb. It's dumb, guys. I think it's funny that I stay in the same place every time. We'd lost the will to live, knowing that what we know about the outside world. But somehow, despite that, we'd found a new reason to live. To win the battle between hope and despair. But now, what do we know? We don't know what hope means to us anymore. What is hope? The burden you bear? Did somebody say bear? And those thoughts pierced my mind. I suddenly stopped. Can't think about things like that anymore. The only thing I need to think about is survival. That is the true meaning of hope, not dying. When you die, you have no hope. A battle like this takes me back. After all, hope and despair are natural enemies. Yep, this is a truly magnificent theme. Only a steamworks of fiction of theme magnificent as this. Oh, this takes me. I didn't know what he's talking about for a second, but yeah, this definitely takes me back.
Why?
Anyway, where's Koki? Why isn't he here? Well, I'll tell you once the trial starts. What's going on? Why aren't you? What are you scheming now?
No.
Doesn't matter what Kokichi's scheming. The final battle between Hope and... It is not the final one. There'll be one more after this. Kokichi can twist and violate the rules all he likes, but we'll never give up. Hope will never submit to despair. Oh, no rules have been violated. Not on my watch, you know.
Shut up.
We'll end it with this. We'll defeat the rooms of despair no matter what. So get ready. Yeah, let's get started. Mix equal parts of life and death, add a dash of lies and truth, making the fires of conflict. And when it's a golden brand of bubbling, you have yourself a truly decadent class trial. I love Monokuma so much. I feel like playing the Danganronpa games is a lot like watching like Friday the 13th movie, because you're kind of rooting for Jason the whole time. And once more, we place a class trial. The one who died, is it Kaito or Kokichi? Can't say for certain, but still I believe. Kaito wouldn't die so easily. I don't know why I believe that so strongly. But I will fight to prove it. I will fight with everyone. To grasp the hope on the other side of this truth. I will fight. I will fight in this trial of truth and lies. Yeah, you'll freaking commit perjury in the middle of it. Where are you? You're in the save point. Do I have any more of these? I got 6 points. So I get one of these. Okay. Let's go. I'm ready for this, you guys.
Ahem. Now then, let's begin with a basic explanation of the class trial. During the trial, you'll present your arguments for who the culprit is and vote for who done it.
You won't do that during the trial, or do that at the end of the trial.
Vote correctly, and only the blackened will be punished. But if you pick the wrong person,
I love the question mark on Kaito, and presumably on Kokichi.
I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will graduate.
Graduation is meaningless here. We already know that. We don't need your rules anymore. We'll find our own reasons to live. And we'll do whatever it takes to survive.
Monica was like, "You interrupted my explanation. This is a sacred tradition."
Wow! An actual talking robot! I've never seen one of those before.
Hey, you are one of those.
Seriously?
What happened to Kokichi? Why isn't he here?
Aw, don't make that face, killer. This case has some unique circumstances.
It's interesting he calls her killer.
Unique circumstances.
Well, yeah, there's two people, and we don't know which one's the victim is.
Because for this murder, the victim's identity is completely unknown. Given these circumstances, I decided to start off this class trial while the victim is still anonymous.
I figured something like that would be the case.
After all, it'd be a shame if I let such a rare opportunity go to waste.
Is that possible? I thought everyone had to participate in the class trial.
I mean, he makes the rules whenever he wants to.
Don't worry, the person who's still alive is waiting behind the scenes for their cue. It's all part of the overall production. Anyway, let's get this trial moving.
I guess we have no choice but to start the trial under these conditions.
That's very true.
What's there to even talk about? The Blackened is the mastermind, Kokichi.
Yeah, I still think Kokichi's actually the one that's dead.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of too.
It's too soon to decide anything for certain. We don't even know if Kaito was the victim.
How long are you going to say that? The victim is Kaito. End of discussion.
Yeah, I freaking hate that. There's a person I work with is exactly like that, and they'll just say what they think with no evidence to it, and you'll be like, no, but this, and they'll just repeat it, and I'm like, I've actually got kind of short with them towards the end. I'm like, if you can't actually back up what you're claiming, then just shut up. Like, I don't mind being wrong. I mind when people argue with me and don't actually support what they're saying.
The But we need to be absolutely sure. If we don't positively identify the victim, the other person will never show themselves, right?
Before we can identify a suspect, we need to determine who the victim
That's very
is.
true. Good job, Kibo. High five.
Why are we even talking about something so obvious? What a pain.
Well, if it's obvious, then prove it. Everyone thinks Kaito's the victim, but I've got my doubts. Yeah, and you're the detective, so if you have doubts, they should bloody well listen to you. There's a chance Kaito's still alive. If we keep discussing the case, I'm sure we'll see the truth.
The victim has to be Kaito.
Kaito was taken prisoner by Kokichi, so he could have killed him whenever he wanted.
And the hydraulic press had his clothes inside.
Kokichi can't be the victim because there's no evidence for it. So the victim must be Kaito.
Well, there's Kokichi's clothes is definitely evidence.
We lost a really good guy today. Kazing! If only mages could cast revive spells.
No, yeah, I know what it is.
Has to be Kaito.
Kaito was taken prisoner by Kokichi, so he could have killed him whenever he wanted.
I mean, that is true.
And the hydraulic press had his clothes inside.
Kokichi can't be the victim because there's no...
Oh, god
So
dang
the
it.
victim must be Kaito.
And the culprit must be Kokichi.
Kazing! If only...
What is Kazing? Kazing is one of the worst magical words I've ever heard.
And the press had his clothes inside.
The victim because there's no evidence for it.
There we go.
that's wrong!
There we go.
I have evidence that points to Kokichi being the victim. I found this in the
Wait, you
hangar.
brought the clothes?
Is that Kokichi's coat?
Yes, and look here. There are bloodstains on the sleeve.
And in the middle of the back.
That would indicate that Kokichi suffered an external injury, correct?
I mean, if he was wearing the coat.
Kokichi was injured.
The fact that these were flushed down the toilet implies that they are evidence of a crime.
Or an evidence of that's the problem. There's so much misdirection that could be going on here.
What about it? Kaito's clothes were in the hydraulic press. As long as we have that evidence, there's no doubt that Kaito was the one murdered.
Yeah, except for the wrong arm was in the sleeve.
Yeah,
Or the...
that's right. It's one of those irrefutable evidence thingies.
God damn it, Himiko. She's so adorable. Ever since she found the body in the hangar, Maki's insisted that it's Kaito. But why is... I thought we had an understanding. I thought she'd want to believe Kaito's still alive. Yeah, but for her, death is easier to fess up to than emotions. Either way, since Maki's hung up on Kaito's clothes, I guess I need to determine the flaw in relying on that evidence. If I do that, I should realize there's a chance Kaito's still alive.
Actually, there's something bothering me about the clothes found in the hydraulic press.
Hmm? What about them?
The sleeve.
That's it!
Yep.
Why was only the sleeve sticking out of the hydraulic press? If Kaito had been crushed by the press, the sleeve shouldn't have been empty. There should have been an arm inside the sleeve as well. So the fact that we found an empty sleeve should...
Shall I kill that logic?
Go ahead and try. I've already got your counter argument.
You're dumber than I thought if I have to go out of my way to explain it to you.
Maki, you're cool, and I like you, and you're an interesting person. But by goddamn, do not call Shuichi dumb. Shuichi is smarter than you.
If you can't even see that, then be quiet. Otherwise, you're just annoying me.
I'm going to enjoy shoving evidence in your face.
coat sleeve sticking out of the hydraulic press. It's rather telling. It couldn't have been anyone else but Kaito. If you can't see that, then you weren't looking hard enough.
I'm not sure
I
what to
wasn't
counter.
looking hard enough. What do you mean?
He always dressed himself in a rather odd manner. He never put his arms through his coat sleeves. So when the hydraulic press crushed him, all that stuck out was his coat sleeve.
But it's the wrong sleeve.
If you understand to be quiet already. Otherwise, you're getting in the way. He always dressed himself in a rather odd manner. He never put his arms through his coat sleeves. So when the hydraulic press crushed him...
Okay, I think it's the coat. What is this evidence? It's the left sleeve. I wonder if that's
all
what
that stuck
tells
out
me
was his coat
that...
sleeve.
Because
If you
I really need to
understand
be able to say...
quiet already. Otherwise, you're getting in the way. He always dressed himself in a rather odd manner. He never put his arms through his coat sleeves.
I'll cut through your words.
Is that it? Okay, that is it. I was like... that's the closest thing I could think of to what I need to say.
Yes, it's true. Kaito never put his arm through his sleeve. But that was just his right arm. He wore his left sleeve normally. And the left sleeve was the one we found outside the press. Knowing how Kaito wore his coat, that's oddly strange, isn't it?
Then maybe neither of his arms were through the sleeves.
But Kaito... I love how she's like, oh, you're so stupid. And you're like, yeah, you didn't think this through. And she's like... Mmm.
Huh?
It's a possibility. In the end, your reasoning is full of holes.
It's... If we're talking about its possibility, it's also a possibility that Kaito turned into a massive mech. Like, come on.
Stop getting in my way. I have to defeat Kokichi.
Well, I'm so sorry you can't bother to, like, actually find out the truth. Maki, what's really going on? So you made up your mind that Kaito's definitely dead. But why would you do that?
It's like Maki said, though. Kaito's gotta be the victim. Because if Kokichi, the mastermind, was dead, the killing game would be over.
Yeah, that's true.
Only if we accept that Kokichi's the mastermind.
Monokuma, hurry up and bring Kokichi here. We already know who the victim is.
Huh? Already? You sure it's not too soon?
We need the suspect present, now that he's the subject of our discussion.
Gotcha. I guess I'll bring him out now. Hey, Mr. Suspect! That's your cue!
Really? God damn it. Oh, that was beautiful, game. That was beautiful.
An exisal?
What? Why is an exisal here?
I mean, it's an exisal. You're gonna tell it no?
Haha. Whoops. My bad. Seems like I gave you guys a scare, huh?
Exisal Kaito. What is this?
Is that Kaito's voice?
Kaito?
Yeah, Maki, don't you feel stupid now?
There was a lot going on, so I just hid in an exisal and kind of dozed off.
Interesting, and yeah, he's in the red one, not the green one, not the one that we pried open.
That's why I'm so late. Anyway, what's going on, guys?
Oh, hold on. Then the one that died wasn't Kaito.
This is really weird, actually.
Stupid! That was just a lie!
Oh, that is brilliant.
You guys thought I died? I would never! No way!
Okay, this is a brilliant way of doing it. My applause to this game.
Kokichi?
I'm gonna live till I die. I'm gonna laugh instead of cry.
Okay, Kokichi has never sung before.
Wow, that's old. How old are you?
I thought as much. Your appearance right now is fit for a lowly asshole like you.
I'm surprised Maki is so happy with him being in a fucking Exisol. Although again, I think it's...
You're making me blush. You're getting so angry over me.
I did also think of the possibility that both of them are dead, but I don't know who would have killed them in that case. Like, anyone could get in there and do it, but...
Is that really you, Kokichi?
That's right, Crackerjack.
Seriously, how old are you?
Then why are you hiding in there? Show yourself.
Oh, this is more for self-defense. Little Miss Cranky Pants would kill me if I showed myself.
I kind of like her name as Little Miss Cranky Pants.
I understand how you guys must feel. You can't believe it because I'm like this, right? That's what I thought. In that case, I brought evidence.
Wow, I've got to, like, prove to Kokichi that he's not real.
Evidence? Ta-da! The video camera. It was in the warehouse, but I brought it to the hangar, just in case.
Interesting.
Man, that was a smart move. Thanks to this, I filmed it so everyone could see it clearly. The moment the victim died.
Interesting. This trial is going very different than what I expected it to do.
What did you say?
He said, the moment the victim died.
Alrighty then. Let's watch this shocking moment. Hey, Monokuma. Can you connect the video camera to the monitor?
Roger that!
I'll go grab the camera from the exit. I'll go to the courtroom's monitor. And play the tape for us. Well, that does seem pretty...
Huh? Kaito?
I mean, yeah, that's hard to contradict.
This is terrible! Why would something like this?
I saw it through my fingers. The moment Kaito was crushed.
How is this possible? Like... Because I don't see a way around that. I don't see a way to refute that. But there's the trial goes on for another 5 episodes. Speaking of which, I'll see you in episode number 2. Talk to you next time, guys. And is that Doc? I mean, like, what? Confused. Wonder if Samugi dressed, but what?